All right, so welcome to Digital Matters. It's been a few weeks, and apologies for that. Just life got in the way, plus the fact that we were looking at Google Optimize last time we spoke, and I had to really wrap my head around it. It's a new product that Google offers now, and for me to understand it, to do A/B split testing and redirect split testing and all sorts of stuff, I had to really spend some time there. So I want to share what I found, and we will certainly start to really use this with clients, especially when they're trying to pinpoint marketing and see where alterations to landing pages or different parts of their website where they would actually like to see different information. So how does it work? Well, essentially, I'm logged into our Google Optimize here now, and the whole aim of it is that you have the actual Google Optimize code, and you have to put that into your website as well. So before you actually create experiences here, so you see I've actually got two experiences that I've created. That the first one I've actually just sort of done it this morning. Now there's a plugin for your browser as well that you have to install to actually get the most out of using this Google Optimize product. So if I go onto this,
Brad, sorry, just to jump in quickly. Typical Google, right, with the languaging. So an experience is what? Just to be clear, create an experience
is you want to test an optimization on your website. So you're going to modify the content of the page. There's several different ways to do it. If I actually go back, I'll just show you. If I go back and do create experience.
So in practical terms, it might be, for example, we have a blog page or a particular advice page on our website, and we're going to make a change and then measure whether we get better engagement with that page, and therefore we know that change we've made is effective or not.
So that's the thing. So if you actually look here, I've create experience on the right hand side, obviously give it a name, and then you point to the page that you'd actually like to be able to create that experience on, which is called the editor page, and then you select the type of experience that you'd like to create, and you can see here A/B test, multivariate test, redirect test, personalization, and now they've even got COVID-19 banners. So the idea being with this, and this is where I probably made the mistake with our previous Digital Matters, and hand up, I'm this is a new product I'm learning. With this A/B test, for instance, I thought, well, I need to just create two separate pages, and then I'd obviously test A and B based on the website. Not the case. Okay, so and I'll take you through that at the moment. So if I click on this G Suite A/B test that I've created here, by default, it just actually creates an original, which is the original page, okay? And then, you actually create the variants of pages that you'd actually like to use. So this one here, I've actually said, change to Gmail. Now, if I actually go and view this page, let's bring that page up. You'll see when I bring it up that at the moment, it all says G Suite backups and G Suite. So my test here is potentially what I want to actually do, all right, is change some of the language on this page. Now, I've got the Chrome plugin installed, and as you can see, when I come to here, this Chrome plugin allows me to have this sort of top header bar across the top here, which gives me my variant. So that change to Gmail is just here. So if I actually click that change to Gmail, this is the nifty thing about this. I can actually just edit parts of the page. Now, what you're actually doing there is you're editing within the plugin. It's not changing your website, okay? So, for instance, this one here, I want to edit this element. I come over here, I edit the text, all right? And I'm going to change this to Gmail and Google Drive backups, okay? That's done, all right? I come down here and I can actually edit this part of the element as well. Now I can edit HTML, or I can insert HTML, or I can actually put JavaScript in there. okay, and I can edit that element. So I'm going to change this to Gmail again, because some people don't actually know the term G Suite. It's the whole suite of products that you have with Google, and a lot of people refer to us just my Gmail. So this could be a valid test, to actually have this set up. So I could change everywhere that I've got G Suite to Gmail, right? And that's just an example there. So I've actually changed that now, and I hit save. Hasn't changed my website at all. All right, we're not editing the website here, and that's the important thing. Okay, and if I go back to the main page here, you'll see on the details when it brings it up that it'll show those actual changes here. I've got 2 changes to text. All right, and it sees that as a variant. Okay, now.
Sorry, Brad, just again to be clear, forgive me if this is a dumb question. If it doesn't change it on the front end, we're actually only testing the SEO worthiness of it rather than the human interaction of understanding that title and reading that page more. So only changing here, the SEO worthiness of it.
Well, yeah, what we're actually changing is, this is where it becomes interesting, is that you create these variants, and I can create multiple variants, all right? And once we install the actual JavaScript code onto the website, right, Google Optimize will, when a person visits your website, will actually change between those variants based on the weighting that you actually put that variant to be as people visit it. So for instance, this page here, we're going to put an ad, against the page that we wanted to really push, G Suite backups, or, and then we create these variants. Right, and then we obviously put the optimized code onto our website then, and this suite of tools will actually modify that web page when you go to it. All right, it'll actually make those changes. So these 2 changes that I've done here, for 50% of people turning up at the moment, would actually get that modification where I've actually used the word, Gmail over using G Suite. And obviously, once we come down the bottom here, we link it to our Google Analytics. Okay, like you can see here, I've actually been playing around with it. It's actually linked to a different, Office 365 backups, because it was in there. But if I actually have a look at my analytics here and edit it, I should be able to, get to my different views. And let's actually just unlink this here, where we unlink it. So I've linked it to a page that I don't want linked. So I'll have to, get rid of that view, because I've actually linked it to an Office 365 view, and I'm talking about Gmail. So here again, it's just a learning tool. But if I was in my analytics here, for instance, and then had a look at my views, I've actually created some views in here, and have a look at the different property settings. So this one here, I've got that property there. If I come up to the top, I've got the G Suite backups one here as well. All right, so in essence, I would need to link to this G Suite backups view, which is for that subdomain page, so it's for that landing page, and it would be linked into this optimized tool, all right, so that it would record the variants of the actual pages that I create up the top. So the aim being is the actual product itself. Once you establish all of the JavaScript on your web page, will actually do the modifications for you in real time. As the person visits the page, it actually changes that text or changes whatever content that you've edited in these variants in real time, and then actually records the interaction that that end user has with that page. So the aim being here is if you have a call to action on that G Suite page, that call to action could have a click event on it, and you wanted to find out, if more people clicked when the word Gmail or Google Drive backups versus G Suite backups, then that gives you the opportunity then to say, well, this is my leading, alterations to that page that's, getting more clicks onto the call to action, based on what they click on. If that makes sense. I hope I haven't lost you there, but the aim here is, as I said, it fully links into your Google Analytics or Google Tag Manager, so that you can then record information on what's actually happening when people visit that page. And I could put a couple of different variants in here. They say it's A/B split testing. Well, you can have A/B/C split testing, for instance, if you wanted to try out 3 different ways of editing a page. That's obviously one type of test that you can do. And as I said, the experiences, when you create that experience, there's multivariant tests, which is you actually change whole blocks of the page. There's redirect tests, and like in my first example where I had 2 separate pages, you could have 2 separate pages on your website and actually use a redirect test, so that 50% of the time when they landed on that advertised page, they'd get redirected to another page. And 50% of the time they'd stay on the page, and then you could obviously record the differences there, based on when they get redirected and when they don't get redirected. So it's a very powerful tool. And once the penny dropped about how it worked for me, it was really interesting and something we really want to harness for our clients, and we'll be as we always test it on ourselves first. And then, once we understand it fully, we can then obviously offer it as a product to customers and really make use of it moving forward. So
I guess as well, I think right now there's at least one example I can think of without naming them for privacy purposes, but there's at least one example we can really test it on a live case over the next week. So maybe we can report back on the results there, because at the end of the day, it's about results, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah. So, and again, it is it's just amazing that once as I said, the penny dropped about how this product all fit together. I thought, wow, what a great idea. It's even, they've built a little plugin called a Flickr plugin, because obviously it uses JavaScript to modify the page in real time when the person lands on it. And they said that sometimes, depending on how quickly the page loads, people may actually see that text modify. So they've built a Flickr plugin that actually sort of does a delay and stops that sort of interaction where people might go, oh, I don't trust that because I just watched that text change real time in front of me. So they built this thing to stop people seeing that, and it just puts it inserts a delay so that those words are modified, as the page comes up, and you don't actually see that change. So it's really interesting software, and certainly something that I think we can move forward with and really sort of harness the power of another great Google product. So
absolutely. I know that there are many businesses around the world who are applying, whether it's Google or otherwise. I mean, I'm pleased that Google have come up with this. There've been all sorts of other products over the years, and split testing and the optimization like this is so powerful and incredibly measurable. That's the trick. It's absolutely measurable. So you get really raw data that you can work with that shows whether the investment is worthwhile or not. But used properly, if you've got the right proposition, this is just gold, absolute gold.
Yeah, and again, I think by our next Digital Matters, I want to have an ad in place and have some real data to show people this stuff. I was there last night madly trying to actually get our website to interact with the optimized plugin, and look, it's not a straightforward thing. We've got all sorts of caching mechanisms on our website that we're interfering with the optimized plugin. So, it does require developers, unfortunately, to do a bit of work here. And I certainly read that WordPress makes it a little bit easier, but still, it's in terms of a technical scale, 1 to 10, getting this stuff working properly with your analytics and your website and everything else, I'd say it's about 7 to 8 out of 10 in terms of difficulty. But for people that obviously understand it, it becomes second nature. And as I was saying before, you can be a Google expert in so many areas, with the products that are out there now, and this is obviously one of them. And the SEO people, are using it. they're using it with their ads, because people are spending real money on ads. You want to know that that page is as optimized as possible and that you're getting the results, you expect from building an ad campaign. And this is one of those things that will allow you to do that.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. I don't think there's much else. As I said, my aim by next week is to get this up and running and show you a sort of a live working example, and maybe just to understand or get a few of the people on the call to visit the page that we set up, or click on our ads and spend a few dollars. Don't click it too many times, and see how it all fits together. So that's my aim for the week, is to get that all working. Thank you everybody for turning up, and we're back on track again to getting our Digital Matters happening once a week.
Absolutely. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it.
Cheers then. Bye-bye.